Guys, I have been no life in this game pretty much every day since last Friday. Now, I am ashamed to say I never played Remnant 1. Matter of fact, I don't know if I was just sleeping under a rock. I never even heard of Remnant 1. And if there's one thing to be said about Remnant 2, is that it may be the greatest game you might not have ever heard about. And one thing I do love about Gunfire Games as well as Gearbox is that they're allowing this game to speak for itself. Hence why you have not seen much on the marketing side, which is exactly why today's video is sponsored by Remnant 2. Now keep in mind, guys, this has no bearing on my thoughts of this game. I already picked it as a potential game of the year, and everyone seems to think that is a crazy thing to say, as if I haven't already played Zelda. Guys, I lost my life to Tears of the Kingdom, and pretty much every single banger that has come out this year we have played, and every banger that's going to come out throughout the rest of 2023 we are also going to play. But listen to what I'm telling you now. Remnant 2 is hands down a top contender for game of the year. Now first, let me just answer the question I think everyone has asked when coming by the stream. What kind of game is this? Now, a lot of people have actually said that it's Dark Souls, but with guns. And honestly, guys, that's probably the most accurate thing, yet it's got a splash of like a looter shooter thrown in there with a ton of secrets. And I know like Dark Souls games, Elden Ring, those games have secrets, but Remnant 2 takes it to a whole nother level by allowing its world to dynamically be different every single time. Meaning my campaign experience can start in a completely different region than your campaign experience. As in, we can have entirely two different areas that we begin our journey on. Not only can we have two entirely different areas, but even if we had the same area, our areas could still be different. This is why this game is actually kind of difficult to put guides on, because it just tells someone to go loot something at a certain set point in the map. That point may not even exist for them because the map changes. And if this concept is foreign to you, I completely understand. Again, before last Friday, it was foreign to me. But for my veteran Remnant players, they know exactly what Remnant has to offer. It is a combination of so many things that so many games have done well. Its looter aspects, the dodging and soul-like mechanics, the beautiful aesthetic, and worlds that are drastically different. I'm literally walking in this barren wasteland with nothing but dust and robots and zombies around me. And then suddenly, I'm in this lush jungle environment. And then next thing you know it, I'm playing Bloodborne 2, and I'm fighting giant rats in the middle of a sewer. My conclusion on this game so far, guys, is that we can't really box it in, saying it's this game or that game, when in reality, Remnant is just Remnant. And at this point, it is defining a game type that I didn't know I loved until here recently. Now, first up, I want to go over some of the history here of Remnant 2. It's developed by Gunfire Games and also published by Gearbox. Now, Gunfire Games started back in July of 2014 by a David Adams, who is a resident veteran of the games industry and best known for his work on Darksiders, Warhammer Dark Millennium. And the bulk of the development team, prior to being brought onto Gunfire Games in 2014, was previously leads at Crytek USA, who are best known for their Crisis series. Huh? Am I piquing your interest yet? I know, you're like, Cross, how did you not know about these guys beforehand? I know! Now, Gunfire Games slowly grew in size until 2015, when they released a number of VR-based games, as well as Darksiders 2 Definitive Edition, a remaster of Darksiders 2, and would later be hired to create the third and final installment of the Darksiders saga, Darksiders 3. Now, Remnant from the Ashes was a highly acclaimed game that was released back in 2019. I'm ashamed to say I have never played it, but there was actually a prequel game titled Chronos Before the Ashes, which released in December of 2020. Originally, it was just titled just Chronos, and this was a VR game released on the Oculus Rift, and then overhauled and titled Chronos Before the Ashes for PC, PS4, Xbox One, and the Switch. Now, Chronos Before the Ashes actually focused on melee combat, as opposed to Remnant's shooter gameplay. Remnant 2 features some callbacks to characters and references for the first game, so for my folks that play those games, you'll feel right at home here. Now, keep in mind, guys, playing Chronos or Remnant 1, neither of those are required to understand Remnant 2 and what is happening in this game. Now, the narrative of Remnant 2 takes place roughly 2 decades after the first game, and I was actually concerned that I wouldn't understand what is going on in Remnant 2, but they onboard you pretty good. But essentially, Remnant 2 pits survivors of humanity against an evil threat called the Root, which is attempting to destroy humanity itself. And this is exactly why you traverse through multiple worlds that is full of these dynamically generated dungeons and areas. There was even a point in our gameplay where one of the characters was like breaking the fourth wall with me. Straight up. It was trippy. Now, you can play through these worlds once, or you can actually go into adventure mode after getting deep into the campaign, and you can re-roll those worlds in adventure mode. This will allow you to actually go back into those areas outside of your campaign world, but you'll be able to play those worlds and those areas with different dungeons, different bosses, which completely changes everything. Now, what's so crazy about this is it goes even deeper than this, guys. How you kill bosses can result in the type of loot you get. I'm not joking. Literally how you kill bosses. What's more is even the decisions you make can drastically change the rewards you get. There was one point in this area where I had to decide which king I wanted to kill. Both were frauds, but depending on which one of these kings I killed, this would change the reward. And it's the small little details here, because literally as you were fighting one of these kings, if you look down at the mirrored floor, you can see the other king on the other side of reality. Trippy as hell. Now, again, during the campaign, if you kill one of these kings, say for instance, the Dark King, and you get the associated sword afterwards, but you wanted the auto rifle from the Light King, no problem, guys. You can either join a friend of yours who happens to be running the campaign in that same area, or someone else, and you guys go kill the Light King together, thus giving you that reward, or you can re-roll in adventure mode of that same tile, aka that same area, that world, then proceed to clear out that area and kill that king. And there's a variety of bosses just like that. The decisions you make, the conversations you have, these are the kind of things that I fall in love with, because it means that there's always another mystery to discover. For instance, I got the Dreamcatcher melee weapon. When you look at it, you just think it's a Dreamcatcher. All right, that's Aztecross. But wait, if you go to this emissary of the Nine looking chick, while she's sleeping, use the Dreamcatcher on her, she will then drop a material. You will then consume it. It will then take you on the edge of eternity. You walk around inside of this eternity place until suddenly you see a light. You pick up said light. It's some sort of weird crystal. You then take it back. You craft it into the best bow in the game. It looks sexy and it shoots 2 arrows at a time in its modded form. Guys, you see where I'm going with this? This is just a small snip. The secrets this game possesses. Now, all of that is for naught if the shooting mechanics don't feel good. You guys know my thoughts on Outriders. A lot of people were hyping it up, but I said since the very beginning that in my opinion, the shooting mechanics of that game felt bad. Matter of fact, I've never really been a fan of third-person shooters because first-person shooters to me just always felt better. Hence why we play Destiny 2. Say what you want about D2, its shooting mechanics have always been very solid. Remnant 2 has arguably the best shooting mechanics I have ever played in a third-person shooter. And when I was told that it was Dark Souls with guns, I thought to myself, how is that actually gonna work? Can't I just do like I do inside of Destiny? I could cheese myself behind a crate and just shoot a boss? Well, yeah, there are moments where that does happen. But for the most part, the enemies in this game know how to move very well. Matter of fact, we opened up with Nightmare mode, which is the hardest mode you can play before beating the game, which opens up Apocalypse mode. But Nightmare mode intrigued us because I wanted the challenge, primarily because some of you said we couldn't do it. Well, for the first 4 or 5 hours, they were right, because we were getting farmed literally right outside of spawn over and over. It was actually kind of demoralizing. Even with the team of 3, we were still getting farmed. Nightmare mode is definitely no joke. And with the team, it actually does get harder. The game scales the more people you have in your team. In my opinion, I feel like duos is still the sweet spot. Trios, though, everything hits a lot harder. They're a lot thicker, and it is definitely scaling with the intention of all 3 of you popping off. But overall, guys, the shooting mechanics is addicting. And that is something I don't really say for a lot of games, which brings us to our classes and loot, because this is what's going to keep the game fresh. You see, guys, when you first start off this game, you pick a class, and on the surface, it appears pretty straightforward. All right, I get these number of options, and those are my classes, and that's it. Oh no, my friend, it gets way deeper than this. You see, as you play the game, you have opportunities to discover other classes. By the way, there is nothing holding your hand to help you find these classes. I actually scoured the edge of a map literally all day looking for a corpse, because I heard you could find a corpse of an engineer, and this would result in me getting the engineering class, or at least I would get the armor, and then you can actually roll down a platform and pick up the item that would then give you the engineering class. Was it worth scouring this entire map? You're damn right it was, because it blessed me with Terry. If you don't know who Terry is my turret. Terry don't play. I drop Terry down, Terry messes up everybody. Now keep in mind, guys, these classes at base are not really that strong. They're good, but they're not like stupid strong. But as you level them up, they get even stronger. And even the basic classes you start off with, Handler, Hunter, Gunslinger, Challenger, the Medic, these classes are all very, very good that you can continue utilizing throughout the game. And it can carry you pretty much from start to beginning. But the classes you can discover within the game. We discovered an invader class, and equipping the invader class gave us an option to press an ability which would auto dodge any attack. So you can imagine how deadly these things get as you level them up further and further. And what really opens things up is that you obtain these trait cards throughout the game. Some of them are tied directly to your classes, others you just discover via quests or even how you kill certain bosses. But upon unlocking 10 trait points through just leveling, this will allow you to now equip 2 classes, one primary, one secondary. And guys, this is when the game really opens up, because suddenly I have the ability to rock some crazy combinations. If I want to rock my handler class with my dog and my challenger class together, I can. If I want to rock Terry my turret and super amp him with my prime ability, but simultaneously utilize it with invader, that's fine too. And again, guys, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are other classes that you can discover, whether it's alchemist and summoner, and probably a few others that I haven't even heard about, that greatly change how you play this game. This is what makes Remnant 2 special. The randomness of the worlds and how it's being presented to the player. The ability to make every single run feel so unique in a way that no other game has really presented to us. The shooting mechanics feel fantastic. The dialogue in this game and the music has been wonderful. And the small snips here and there, even just side missions. I literally sat in a house with a bunch of little orphan kids and some woman in front of me while she's sitting there making a quilt, and they're all sitting there just talking. The dialogue was mesmerizing. It blows my mind that this game is only $50 when it is easily worth full price, if not more. And for my Destiny players that love loot, this game has got it. Literally, Sunshot. Sunshot is in the game. I'm not joking. Anarchy is also in the game. Matter of fact, it's like, imagine if Wrist Runner, Centrifuge, and Anarchy had a baby. That's pretty much Enigma. Guys, I'm excited to continue playing this game. You can play co-op with your friends, or you can go about it in a single player experience. And there's been a lot of people come by the stream saying, what's the future of this game? Keep in mind, this is not a live service game, although they do have a number of DLCs already prepped to come out, which we'll be jumping on. So far though, this game has a tremendous amount of secrets to discover, something I think is going to keep you entertained for many, many hours, and definitely a contender for Game of the Year. You can get a copy of Remnant 2 today using our link in the description below. Fellas and ladies, thank you all for coming and watching, and as always,
slap that like button like your mama told you right.